morning, welcome back to Rosevine Cottage Girls. I'm Cheyenne and today we are going to be processing corn by pressure canning. So we're going to walk you through step by step how to do it from preparing your corn all the way through to canning, and then we'll talk about storing at the end. So let's get started. We've got a bunch of sweet corn here, and to start with you're going to need to husk each piece, and then a brush like this works great for getting the little hairs off of them. And then to shuck and get the hairs off, you need to blanch these. So just boil some water, we've already done that, and you're going to submerge these for 2 to 3 minutes and then remove them from the boiling water and plunge them in an ice bath. And from here you're going to start using a knife and just work your way down the cob. Don't cut too deep because you don't want the hard pieces at the bottom of each kernel. And you're just going to work your way down and remove all of the individual kernels from the cob. They do sell little devices to cut these off, but a knife works just as well. As always, you can check the description for all of the tools, links, and everything that we're using in any of our videos, plus some great resources. We'll also have the recipes down below. And if you're enjoying this video so far, go ahead and give us a thumbs up, subscribe so you can see more of this content. And tell us your favorite corn recipe down below. We'd love to hear how you like your corn. Brianna is a huge corn on the cob fan, where Dad loves his green corn. So, how do you like it? And you're just going to keep going with this step until you work through all of the corn that you need to process. Now's a great time to put on a podcast or some music that you really love and just work through this. And you can save the cobs and make corn cob jelly, which is what we are going to do, and we will post the video. I'll link it in the video somewhere. Finished processing our corn off of the cobs, and we're ready to start packing our hot jars. So we're just going to start filling funnels, make this way easier. And if you happen to see any hairs that you missed from the shucking process, just go ahead and remove them now. You can also do this in pints, but we like to do this in quarts for our family. And as always, all the links are down below in the description for everything you need for this video and all the products we're using. Now for corn, you're going to need to pressure can this. The steam canner and the boiling water canner are not going to cut it for this process. So our pressure canner is already on the stove heating up. You are going to need to pack these in warm, boiling water. So we've got our pan filled with fresh off the stove hot water. There we go. Leave a 1-inch headspace on all of your jars. Now, if instead of canning you were going to say freeze dry it or just freeze it, you would just lay this on a baking sheet. You can put it on a silicone mat on a baking sheet. It will make it removing it much easier. And then just pop it in your freezer until it's frozen, and then you can vacuum seal it into bags for just freezing, or you can move it into your freeze dryer if that's what you're planning on doing. We should have a freeze drying curing video up soon, so keep an eye out for it. But for today, we are going to be pressure canning. Our canner should fit about 7 jars. Perfect. Alright, now we are ready to start ladling our hot water over our corn. Alright, turns out we had more corn over there, so we're going to keep filling jars. You can use wide mouth jars or narrow, it doesn't matter. So just happen to be the first ones I grabbed out of our canning pantry. So all our jars are packed, and we are going to add a teaspoon of salt. I'm using a pink Himalayan salt. Just add a teaspoon in the top of each of your jars. This is totally optional. You do not have to add salt to your corn. We just prefer it. And if you forget to add it, you can always season these once you are ready to use them. Add some butter, add some salt, season it how you like. Alright, there we go. Alright, now we're just going to start ladling our hot water over our corn. You don't want to press or pack this corn down, you just want to fill your jars and then top with salt optionally, and then add your water. Again, you're going to leave that inch headspace and be really careful not to burn yourself. Just a reminder, you shouldn't be using butter before you can these. Save that for when you are opening it up and making it for dinner. Alright, you're going to want to debubble your jars before you go any further. Just slide the debubbler or a butter knife, if you can't happen to find that at the moment, down to the bottom of the jar and just gently press in. That will help to release any air that has been captured between the kernels up to the surface, so that you don't have big air pockets in your canned corn in the end. You may notice that your water level goes down a little bit while you're doing this. That's okay, just add a little bit more water to get it back to that headspace that you need, and you'll be ready to go. Alright, so we're going to wipe down all of our ribs. Make sure that none of these are cracked. You should have also already done that while you were washing and sanitizing these, but just to double check to make sure you didn't miss anything. Occasionally they'll slip through, and it's very frustrating having a jar that didn't can because it just couldn't seal properly. Get all of the grime off the top of these. You can also wipe it down with vinegar if you feel like you need to and it's just not coming clean. I think we're okay. Alright, next step, we're going to put the lids and the rings on these. We have our wide mouth lids, and we're just going to place them on top. You want to make sure you're using new lids. You don't want to reuse these ones. They do sell reusable ones, Tatler, and there's another brand, but I can't remember the name of it right this second. We'll link, again, all of that down in the description. You're going to want to tighten these down. Just like that. Alright, we're going to place our lids on top of our clean jars, or clean rims rather. You're going to want to make sure you're using fresh of these. You can also use a reusable type lid like a Tatler. But for today's video we're going to be doing just a regular lid. Tighten down your ring over the lid. So, we're just going to gently set these in here. You may want to use a jar grabber for this part. And you're just going to fill your canner. It's already hot, so you don't have to worry about the jars breaking. There we go. Last one. Alright, now we are ready to put the lid on. I'm going to line up the arrows, twist to lock, and then we are going to let this continue heating up. You'll eventually see steam start coming out of here. Alright, once steam starts coming out of our vent here, we'll let this sit for 10 minutes, and then we are ready to put our weight on top and begin allowing it to pressurize so that we can eventually process this. Alright, so for our elevation we're going to be using 10 pounds of pressure, and we're just going to sit it over the vent. There we go. So we're watching for the weight to begin to wobble. It may start wobbling quite fast in the beginning, and we'll lower our heat to get that to just a gentle rock, and then we can begin timing so it can process. Okay, we're going to reduce our heat so this is just barely wobbling, and then wait for our elevation. It's 85 minutes to can. Come on. I really missed the stove that had the numbers.
One that blew up on us at Thanksgiving.
There we go. Alright, so we're just going to let this sit, keep an eye on this, and make sure it's just wobbling every so often. It doesn't need to be a very hard wobble. You don't want to be able to hear it 3 rooms over. Just a nice, soft rhythm. And then you are going to want to go ahead and get your towels ready to pull your jars out on them. If you don't already have it, grab your jar grabber. You've got a ways before you're ready to pull these out. This needs to completely drop down before you attempt opening it, or it'll be bad. Alright, so our timer has gone off. We are going to turn our eye off, and you can either leave it here or very, very carefully move it off the heat. And we're just going to let it sit and cool until this depressurizes and falls. And then we're ready to remove our jars to our prepared towels and let them cool. So we are completely down. We're ready to gently remove this. Again, you're still going to want to be very careful because this is still quite hot. Gently twist, open it away from you. Watch your feet so you don't spill any condensation back on your feet. There we go. Alright, for this you are definitely want to use your jar grabbers. And just pinch the top of each jar and carefully lift. There we go. You're going to want to use several thicknesses of towel to protect your counter before sitting your jars on it. Alright, you're going to want to sit them on your towel far enough apart that they are not touching and just leave them alone. You'll begin to hear the lids popping as they seal, and you're going to leave them alone for 24 hours. If you notice once they're cool that there is one that has not sealed, go ahead, stick that one in the fridge. These other ones you can label. Once they're cool, wipe down the jars and the lids before you try to use a Sharpie on them. Store them in a cool, dark place. There you have it, your corn is canned. Now, once they're cool, you can remove the rings, label them, and make sure you store them in a nice, cool, dark environment in your pantry so for optimal storage shelf life. And that's it. Check out the description down below for anything you might need in this video, plus tons of resources, and we'll see you next time at the cottage.